It is late May and we have so many gardening projects to work on, as I'm sure you do as well. So let's dive in and see how much we can get done today. So we're standing right in front of our cottage and we need to replace the window boxes. And I have some beautiful annuals to do that. We weren't able to find the annuals that we usually use, but I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise. Let me show you this. So I just want to show you some of the annuals that we're going to be planting right off the bat. I'm going to be replacing the window boxes with these absolutely gorgeous white begonias. So let me tell you a little bit about them. These are the Move to Joy white begonias from Duman Orange. They get 8 to 12 inches tall and they grow out 15 to 18 inches. They are a full sun, 2-part shade annual, which is so fantastic for our window boxes because we struggle with these areas, as I'm sure you have areas like this as well, where we have deep shade over on this side and then part sun on the other side. And so one of the window boxes, one edge of it is kind of full sun. So we'll really be able to see the difference in light conditions, how they perform. But I'm so excited. Look at that, how beautiful and full of color. And then the other annual that we're going to be planting is in ground, and it's this stunningly gorgeous non-stop pink begonia. I've left this for too long, so some of the leaves are starting to crumble, but look how beautiful. They look like, you know, camellia blossoms, giant camellia mixed with a rose, mixed with a peony. They're just so beautiful. And I feel like so often we kind of snooze on these tuberous begonias, but these are just stunning. So this is the non-stop pink. I mean, it just was such a showstopper at the garden center. I had to give it a try. And my friend over at Equinox Valley was like, oh, those are fantastic. So I'm excited to give those a try and tell you how they do in our garden. The other one here is the Limitless Sunrise. And this is, again, a tuberous begonia, part sun or shade, and it's 8 to 10 inches tall, and you want to plant them 8 to 10 inches apart. But look at that, sort of a buttery yellow in the center, kind of softening out to an ivory, and then this beautiful pink. So it just has that kind of apple blossom, but tropical look to it. It's really, really pretty. So I'm gonna be placing these in an area just behind us here, just in front of our urn of Easy Daisies. I thought that would pick up really nicely with the pink color of the Easy Daisies. And then these here are gonna be going into our dining garden. But I have to get up now because we have to empty out all of our window boxes and plant them up with this beautiful white begonia. So here we have our beautiful pansies. These are the Viola whitworkianas from earlier in the season. And it's hard to pull them out when they look so beautiful. But you know what? In each of them, one of them has kind of died out. I'll show you. Not so pretty. I think they're ready to go. I'm going to place them in sort of a shadier location and we'll just see what they do. If they end up all dying, that's okay. It's just so nice to have that color, especially in the windows looking out early in the season since it stays brown for so long here. So let's go ahead, we'll get these removed. I'll get them all prepped. We'll chuck some fertilizer in there and then we'll start planting. Giant toad.
No way.
Giant toad. That's so funny. I had this whole thought of like, what did I do? Be careful. So I've cleaned up this first window box, which is hard with dirty gloves, and I've filled this with fresh potting mix. You want to make sure that you're never using like garden soil in your window boxes or containers. It'll just really prevent that nice free flow of drainage. So I'm just going to add some of this Back to the Roots organic plant food. It's an all-purpose. And I'm just going to add it into the areas where generally I think we're going to be planting. Oh my gosh, look how gorgeous that is. Let me clean it up a little bit. But wow, What a stunner. I just love that. It looks so frilly and ruffly and romantic. Ah, and fresh. Wow, that is so beautiful. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about these. They're just gorgeous. I love that double. Isn't that just beautiful? We haven't done a double begonia here, but I am very familiar with begonias. I like using the big whites and the surefires, and these ones I'm just really excited to try out. Something a little bit different, but sticking to what we know we love in the front of the cottage. So let's do the rest of them. We were just clearing these out. Bert saw the giant toad, and look what I just saw. Our little tree frog friend is back. He's so teeny tiny. Oh my gosh. I think I might move on and clean this up later so that we don't scare him, because I love when he's here. This is the one he always comes to. I love it so much. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, well those are all done. We are gonna have to come back and just clean up the window boxes where the frog was, because I kind of wanted to leave him alone. I didn't want to scare him, but we ended up tucking those in, and he just crawled straight over to, it was like his home. It was like, ah, thank you so much. So that was just so, so sweet. So he's in those little begonias, and I'll show you some of that because they're just so sweet, those little tree frogs. But they look a little off because some of them are bigger than others, but we just sort of planted the root balls in the similar place. I just think it looks so tidy with the cottage white. It looks so, so pretty. So now we'll go ahead and tackle our next project. So right here is where we're going to be placing our next few annuals. These are the easy daisies that we put in here in the spring in this little urn. It's kind of being taken over by the Canadian windflowers and the lily of the valley, but I really like that lush, abundant cottage look. So in this space, we're going to do just a little cluster of this, what's it called? Tropical shades? Limitless Sunrise. Close enough. How just, oh, sumptuous. I love that. It's just such a pretty, soft, gentle, but giant flowers in these beautiful double rosettes. I love that. It kind of matches my outfit perfectly, actually. So pretty. What I'm going to be doing is just placing these along here, and I kind of want it to look like they're just spilling over these rocks. Ah, oh, there's a slug right at the base. He was about to just cut that in two. You do not belong here. We'll put him in the woodlands. Let me see if there are any others. No, they're okay. So there we go. And they kind of open. Some of them are this like warmer, brighter pink, and then they just soften to this beautiful double. And some of them that kind of come up on the same stem are singles. So hopefully the pollinators really appreciate that. I love the underside of the leaves. Can you see that? They're this sort of stripy green and burgundy. And then the tops are a little bit of a burgundy and sort of like a blue green. So they look kind of iridescent from the top. Very, very pretty. I love them. So we'll have these just coming over the rocks like that. And I think they'll really enjoy it. This area gets morning sun and then afternoon shade. Something like that. Let me see, how wide do they grow? Okay, 8 to 10 inches, so they're gonna stay pretty small. So let's cluster them together a little closer. So the problem that we have here is that I decided to make the path a little bit narrower here, so we kind of ate into our lawn. So what I'm gonna do is weed a little bit, just so that we're clearing this area so that we know that we're not planting in and amongst things that are really gonna take it over. And one of you sent this really amazing Hori Hori knife. This is from Sen Green. It's so fantastic, and you can use it, you could use it as a bulb planter because it has the inches on it. So you know how deep you're planting things, which I think is really cool. Isn't that great? So I can leave that linked down below. They were very, very sweet and just sent it to our P.O. box. So thank you. Thank you very much. And this has been so helpful, especially we have a lot of kind of like stubborn weeds on our driveway. And so this has been really helpful for that. Like dandelions and things with really long tap roots. I find that these Hori Hori knives are really great for really making sure you're pulling up the whole taproot. And things like wild carrot that, as the name would suggest, have really deep roots. Obviously this video isn't sponsored or anything like that, but they did send it for free. That was just nice. Nice little thing. That is so easy to do. There we go. We have so many worms in our soil, it's amazing. It has so many roots. If it's not the roots, it's the rocks. If it's not the rocks, okay, because there are so many roots here with the rocks, I could try and dig those out with a pickaxe, but the roots here, there's just so many roots. It's another thing about living in a woodland. You just have so many roots to compete with. So I've kind of dug around in the soil despite all of the roots and kind of loosened it up as much as I could with my spade and with the pickaxe. Filled it with leaf mold and some garden soil. In ground planting, you can definitely use garden soil. And now I'm just putting in our begonias, and then I'm gonna fill it back with garden soil. Add a little bit of our fertilizer. Make sure there are no slugs. Okay, here we are in the dining garden, and I'm gonna go ahead and plant up our jelly beans with those beautiful begonias. We actually still have tulips in bloom right now. We have tulips and alliums, brunnera, forget-me-nots, tiarella, geraniums in bloom in this bed. But I think it's gonna look so beautiful with that pink, with those pink giant rosettes in the back of that border. Let's take a look. So this is the border in question. Look at all of these alliums and tulips. How fun. Okay, so these are the two beds that we're going to be planting. Just a few of those begonias in the back there. There's Georgie. Hi, sweet girl. So we planted up the begonias in there, but they are being kind of buried by all of the tulip foliage. And I think the tulips have been up for long enough, especially the early flowering ones that bloom at the beginning of April. So we're gonna just clean up the beds now just to give our new annuals a fresh start, lots of room and space to grow. Okay, I just ran in and grabbed some foxgloves because I thought it would be so pretty to kind of plant these in the back of these borders. Eventually we do want to fill these with hydrangeas. I think that would just be so gorgeous just to create hydrangeas all around. But I think for now we'll just kind of fill part of this area in with foxgloves. So we have here the Camelot lavender, and I think this is Dalmatian peach and lavender. So I think we'll just kind of put them all together here. So let's do 3 in this order and 3 in that order. All right, so now we're in the cottage garden, and I just want to fill up some of these little gaps. I mean, the lamium is going to fill in and things like that, but I want to fill in all these gaps with beautiful foxgloves. I just love having that abundant cottage look with foxgloves all throughout. And we already have lots of foxgloves that are all budded up, they're about to bloom. And when you have the foxgloves with the peonies, it just looks incredible. I absolutely love it. So that's what we're gonna do. Just kind of fill in this space with lots of foxgloves. And I have lots of different varieties, lots of the Camelot, lavender, rose, the Camelot white. I have Gloxiniflora, grandiflora. So lots of beautiful foxgloves, and I just think it's gonna look so lush, so abundant. I really do love the fuzzy leaves of the foxgloves as well. I think they're just beautiful. So let me get set up. Bert's gonna grab all of our equipment, all of our little tools that we're using, and I think he's gonna be our digger because we're lucky ladies. Okay, the plan is now to just fill up these borders with foxgloves. We were gonna save a few, but now I think we're just gonna go all in and just plant these up. Yeah? Yeah. Let me show you up close us planting the foxgloves because it might be a little bit confusing from a distance. We're just gonna fill this in with foxgloves. They might bloom a little bit later in the year for us because we're putting them in the ground later, but I think it's gonna be really, really pretty. Hopefully in a few weeks here. So just for some context, we're right here in the long borders. Look how beautiful the irises look. Aren't they gorgeous? And then we're gonna plant some foxgloves in a little trio right here by our daisies and ivory halo dogwoods right here. So you've dug all 3 of the holes with the pickaxe. Now filling it with some soil. These are the stakes for the dahlias and the daisies. Fertilizer. This is a little daisy that's self-seeding there. We just have a few left. Okay. Little plug. And just tucking that in. And a couple more. These are some little guys. There we go, now we'll water those in. That'll be a nice little trio right there. So right here. Happy?
Very happy. This is gonna be awesome.
Well, my face is covered in dirt, my hands are covered in dirt, and I think that's a sign of a good day. So we got a lot done. Thank you so much for joining us. It was really nice, very sunny at the beginning of the day, and then it started getting cloudy, but it's just nice to have warm weather. I don't know if I've said this yet, but we've had like pretty cold May. Temperatures in the 40s as the high a few days, and mostly in the 50s. So we're excited to have some warmer days here. I think today was like in the low 60s, so that was pretty nice. And I'm just excited. Our irises are blooming, as I said before, and it's just nice to see those. They're such a fun color in the garden. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully all those foxgloves take. Subscribe if you want more of this content. Like this video if you like, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you got a lot done too. All right, bye-bye. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I planted the pansies back here. They might need a minute to bounce, but hopefully we'll have some color in them for a little bit longer. This is a new project.